Okay, so I'm here in Copenhagen in a place called Vesterbro. Now this is really the heart of the forward-thinking area where they have implemented a few of these safe injecting zones. They now have, of course, the world's largest place where people can go and take drugs in a controlled environment. They get their syringes provided and they get to dispose of them. There's nurses on hand and there are staff there to offer support. Now here it has been heralded as a success, and if Glasgow is to implement the same thing, then it's likely that they'll have to take lessons from what's happened here. So we're going to have a wee walk through this neighbourhood of Vesterbro, and it is an interesting place where people have said there used to be a problem with needles on the streets, drug addicts taking drugs in the closes and shooting up.
Hi, I'm Michael Lodberg Olsen. I'm a social entrepreneur. Get started, it saved lives. It created a more safe local environment. We cut down the used needles on the street with 80% with safe injection facilities, and nobody ever died in our safe injection facilities. It's more healthy, it saved lives, and the dignity of the everyday life of the people is much better.
People have told me as well that initially there was resistance to this. People thought it would encourage drug use. People thought that it wasn't the right way to tackle the heart of the problem. But since the implementation of such centres, there have been more opening across Copenhagen. Interestingly enough, if you are possessing drugs for your own personal use, you will not be prosecuted. And that's a difference which they say has really helped the drugs problem here, because people feel that they can go to these controlled injecting zones, take their drugs and not be under threat from the authorities. Now, just to give you an idea, we're only a couple of blocks away from the fixing rooms, and as I mentioned before, the world's largest. And behind me we have a primary school, lots of families walking by, and lots of bustling cafes as well. So it just gives you an idea of the area.
We see around 1,500 individuals each year, most of them with severe health problems, and we are actually able to give them immediate care for their most basic problems.
And from a medical point of view, you know, you've managed to really treat and help a lot of people.
Before we had any safe injection, we had a lot of drug use in the streets. We had people overdosing, and we had people really getting sick from the problems they had.
Yeah, hi, I am Louise Runge Mortensen. I'm the head of the drug consumption room, age 17, based in Vesterbro in Copenhagen.
And already a success story since August.
Yeah, even though we're very new, we have a lot of people coming through. We have around 700 intakes per day, and I think it's about 1,600 unique users, and on an average week I think we have around 2 or 3 overdoses, which would, anyway, some of them probably have been fatal outside. So yeah, we're making a difference, yeah.
If I just pan the camera around there, you can see how big it is, and it spans a large length. There's various injecting rooms, a smoking room, and by all accounts, walking through there, it was very busy. There was a lot of people as well sleeping and making use of the facilities. As you can see, this area is quite busy. Plenty of people walking behind me now. I'll just cross over the road, make sure I don't get run down by cyclists. There are a lot of bikes here in Copenhagen. Yeah, so I mean, I'll just kind of give you a bit of an idea of the geography here. So that's H17 behind me. Lovely brand spanking new facility, but it doesn't stand out. It just looks like any of the other buildings here in the meatpacking districts of Copenhagen. If I pan you around there, you'll see the street is particularly busy. There's plenty of cafes and bars, and you can see the canopies there, people out and about for a walk. And just here behind me, this building here, that's the police station. So it shows you that there is that cooperation, there's that trust. People are bringing their own drugs here to H17 and they are not getting prosecuted. The manager there explaining to me that, you know, the traditional healthcare simply isn't working for these people. They're still addicted to hard drugs and they need the help, and the H17 really is giving them that help. So yeah, as you can see behind me, police cars. I've just walked across the road from the world's largest drug consumption centre and we're next to a police station. So it just shows you the geography here, just gives you an idea and a flavour of the area, because although at the moment we don't have an idea of where perhaps Glasgow will implement such a facility, but you know, this area to me reminds me of Finniston, kind of regenerated, hip area, nice place to be, safe place to be, and yet they have various injecting rooms, and you know, the drug addicts are able to come freely and take their substances. So we're now going to men's home, which I've just arrived at, so you can kind of see how quickly these places are in proximity to one another. And if you can just see behind me there, that's one of the needle bins, and we're coming round to, if I just turn round here, you'll see now we're at the next facility. This is men's home, and I'm going to go inside and speak to a couple of the users who are going to give me an idea as to why they've ended up here and what they think of the safe injecting facilities. Okay, so I'm now joined by Elliot, and we're having a little chat about the fixing rooms downstairs.
Yeah.
You use them regularly. I mean, you think they're a great idea?
Yeah. Of course I do, because well, there are many obvious reasons, really, if you ask me. Well, we've almost, well, here I'm saying they've almost completely eliminated the problem of like people running into drug users standing with a needle in their arms in the middle of the streets. As when I came to Denmark in the first place, that was still a very big problem. People standing in the streets injecting and whatnot, and that's just not pretty. And there's a lot of kids who live with their families around there, and then when people are done, because most of people use stronger drugs, they don't think clearly when they're done. They just take out the needle and they throw it on the ground and then they walk. And half of these people, they got hepatitis C, HIV and shit like that. And you don't want those needles laying around on the ground, do we? No, that's just dangerous, straight up dangerous. So I mean, like, sure there are those little yellow needle boxes all about, but
So a good thing for the local community, but also as a drug user, good for you as well to be safe.
yeah, because in these fixing rooms you have this you have an educated nurse. You have more than one, actually. You have like one that sits by the computer and like writes down what you want to take and whatnot, and then outside in the room just before you enter the fixing room, you have about 2 or 3 other personnel who are just waiting in case of emergency, you know what I mean? Yeah. And there are another just waiting and like on call just in case as well.
So it's really safe.
Yeah, it is safe. You could pretty much go down there and take like, no, this is a major heroin OD, and take it, but you would still wake up because they have an antidote. Now I'm not like trying to promote ODs here. I'm just saying that it is a safe environment, so you don't sit and stab yourself with the same old blunt needle there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Lovely to meet you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Rasmus Koberg Christiansen, and I'm the manager of one of the drug consumption room here in Copenhagen. And drug consumption room, there's a lot of good things to say about drug consumption room, but it's also important to say that drug consumption room is not a magic stick or a magic solution that makes all problems disappear. But on some very important issue, drug consumption room helps.
I just thought I would kind of wrap up here in Vesterbro before I head home. It has been really, really interesting speaking to the police about how they changed their point of view from heavy prosecuting, fining people, to then this idea of helping and tackling the problem and making this a health priority for people that do have all sorts of needs. It really has been a fantastic trip, and I'm hopeful to present the idea to the people of Glasgow that these are nothing to be scared of, and it takes a great deal of cooperation. It's not going to solve the drug addicts' problems, but it is going to help them. It's really been an eye-opener for me. I've learned a lot. People have been so friendly, and they have shown me the way that they make this work for the community, for the residents, for the police, for the drug users, and it seems to be working here. So that's it. It has been a fantastic trip, and I hope to have shown you a little bit about what I've learned.